Hey folks, you know that I've been arguing that we're in a constitutional crisis. I warned you in my videos, in my writing, and in a debate I had last week that Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and their corrupt robber baron friends are going to be going after not just Congress's exclusive authorities, but also the courts as well. I told you that the next thing that they try to do is to violate a direct court order. And that's exactly what has just happened, as has been recognized by a federal district court out of Rhode Island. So Donald Trump instituted this spending freeze, right, with the Office of Management and Budget, where they were unlawfully and unconstitutionally restraining agencies from putting out funds that have been appropriated specifically by Congress. And what we have now is a recognition from this court that after they were told to stop in a temporary restraining order, they continued going along their plan of freezing funds that had been specifically congressionally appropriated. And so we are in a dangerous spot, folks. I'm going to now show you that order and what it says, because you need to know what's going on. You need to know that this administration is going after the very structure of our system and in our Constitution. Our republic is in danger. I wouldn't tell you this if I didn't actually believe it and if there weren't clear, objective facts that demonstrated it. So let me show you the order right now. So this is the order out of the district court. You can see that it says as a basic proposition that all orders and judgments of courts must be complied with promptly. Interesting that they would start their order with that basic premise of law, citing the Supreme Court of the United States. I'll continue to read. The defendants issued a broad, categorical, all-encompassing directive freezing federal funding. That's the OMB memo that we talked about. The plain language of the TRO, that's the order, the initial order, entered in this case, previously, right, prohibits all categorical pauses of or freezes in obligations or disbursements based on the OMB directive or based on the President's 2025 executive orders. The defendants received notice of the TRO. The order is clear and unambiguous, and there are no impediments to the defendant's compliance with that order. Basically, what the court is saying is everything is completely clear and above board. You knew about it. The order is unambiguous, so there's no problem of interpretation. The court is trying to head off any argument that they didn't know or that this is just a mistake. No, it is incredibly clear that they were put on notice and they know that what they're doing is wrong. The states have presented evidence in this motion that the defendants in some cases have continued to improperly freeze federal funds and refuse to resume disbursements of appropriated federal funds. The defendants now plead that they are just trying to root out fraud, but the freezes in effect of the order now were a result of a broad categorical order, not a specific finding of possible fraud. The broad categorical and sweeping freeze of federal funds is, as the court found, likely unconstitutional and has caused and continues to cause irreparable harm to a vast portion of this country. So that's the judge saying this broad freeze is likely unconstitutional. These pauses in funding violate the plain text of the TRO, that is, the plain text of the order. The court disagrees with the defendant's notice that this is not clear and unambiguous, right? The court is literally saying the TRO is clear and unambiguous in its scope and effect. So he's denying the notion that this is just a mistake or it's unclear, they need to do another order. This is a second order about the same thing. In response to the defendant's arguments, they can request targeted relief from the TRO from this court, where they can show a specific instance where they are acting in compliance with this order, but otherwise withholding funds due to specific authority. Therefore, consistent with the United States Constitution, United States statutes, and the United States Supreme Court precedent, and the TRO, the defendants are hereby further ordered as follows. The defendants must immediately restore frozen funding during the pendency of the TRO until the court hears and decides the preliminary injunction request. The defendant must immediately end any federal funding pause during the pendency of the TRO, the order. The defendants must immediately take every step necessary to effectuate the TRO, including clearing any administrative, operational, or technical hurdles to implementation. The defendants must comply with the plain text of the TRO that they had initially posted, not to pause any funds based on pronouncements pausing funding incorporated into the OMB directive and the OMB guidance. The TRO requirements include any pause or freeze included in the unleashing guidance. The defendants must immediately restore withheld funds, including those funds appropriated in the Inflation Reduction Act and the Infrastructure Improvement and Jobs Act. The directives are included in the TRO. The defendants must resume the funding of institutes and other agencies of the defendants, for example, the National Institute of Health, that are included in the scope of the court's TRO. So the judge is being incredibly clear. Donald Trump had an order. The order was clear and unambiguous. There were no reasons not to follow that order, and he chose willfully to disobey that order in complete disregard for the judge's rule here. As I said before, we are in an incredibly dangerous spot in our country's history. The first step is recognizing that we're in a constitutional crisis, recognizing that Donald Trump is attempting to become a king, a tyrant. And you need to guard yourself against these enlightened centrists and these phony MAGA propagandists who are telling you that it's not the case, that your eyes aren't seeing what you're seeing, that your ears aren't hearing what you're hearing. They're trying to gaslight you because they want to centralize authority. And it's on us, the citizenry of this country, to stand up for our rights and stand up for our country. Thank you.